somewhere over the round of 32, we are listening to Blue Zenith on the stream. And for that, I shall announce that we are ready to start with the Mappool showcase of the round of 16 of the 4-Digit Mania World Cup 4th edition. How are you guys doing? I'm commentating alongside Hello. How are you doing?
Hello there. I'm doing well. And you too?
Hi, I'm doing fine. Kinda tired, but I'm hyped as hell for like the new maps because they're so cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
We have a treat in store for you guys.
Yeah. I was checking on them just to brush up a bit on how the charts looked before the showcase, and I must say, this is a step up.
Yeah, you're talking Blue Zenith. This is like Bra Zenith. Like the round 16 pool, it's getting rough. I'll say though that I think the biggest jump might be from round 16 to quarterfinals still, so the gap is not as big yet. But
let's get there when we get there. We're gonna get there next week. Let's do round 16 right now. Let's not.
I still think the round 16 to round 32 is like big, but I would say it's like a slightly less than the round 16 to quarterfinals.
Fair enough. Right?
And it has the best song in the entire pool of the entire thing, so you better watch out for that.
Yeah.
And no, it's not the best song ever. It is actually the best song ever.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, I'm ready. Who's ready to see some maps? Because I'm ready to see some maps and see some replays. Let's go.
Yeah, we should be good to go to start here.
That's
Oh,
the
more
first
numbers.
chart.
More numbers on the pool. Let's go.
It's Absolute Zero by Shoegazer.
Yeah, so this is our jump stream pick of the pool. It's so you know how get over the barrier was 173. Well, this is 189. So there you go. Let's get right into
That's
it.
essentially the only difference. Yep.
and it's also 189 with some pretty unfriendly patterns, I should say the least.
Well, not just the unfriendly patterns here. You have to pay attention. The OD 8.5. Like it's getting high for this mode of not necessarily consistency, but jump stream oriented picks where you usually try to tunnel vision. On an OD that is so tight, you can easily like misfocus or misjudge that you're hitting early or late and start rushing or start dragging, and that can cost you a lot of regulars or even 200s at some point.
Absolutely.
Density also picks up, so pretty hard to go and to start already here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that well, there are some breaks. Like time just goes on. Like the breaks don't really feel like breaks at all.
Yeah. The chart abuses a lot of this anchoring and one hand
Trails,
and one hand
yes.
focus. Alongside these 1/6 rolls, they appear
They're
on
actually
the
rolls. Thank you very much, Shoegazer.
they're 1/5. Yeah, they appear in the chart every now and then. Test a bit of your control. Most interesting aspect of this chart is probably just how awkward it feels. It just feels ever so slightly weird to try and act.
Pretty epic section here, right? If you're tunnel visioning through the entire chart and you reach this point, we have this 1-2 gaps in between the jump streams.
Yeah.
If you are like way too
The
centered
gaps
into
are
hitting
so
1/4,
weird.
you can easily mess those up.
Oh yeah,
A 200
absolutely.
or a 100 even is very likely to happen there if people is just sharp shooting.
This is something where the breaks would actually like hurt a lot of players' focus, at least. Like, then have these patented shoegazer patterns, and you saw there's a break. There's just these breaks, and it just
Yeah, and it also introduces this weird gallop, which feels really weird to time when like you've been playing non-stop 1/4 for the entire chart. Also, now it gets really dense.
It is getting denser indeed, yes. The teams
There's
on the
a
lower
peak
side of the
near the end.
bracket might start struggling in this, not only with the patterning being denser, but also stamina being a bit of a factor. Sure, the map is
Yeah.
not that long, but the density really drains your stamina if you're
Yeah,
not
the
comfortable
density
with
and
190
the
BPM.
Density and patterning. And yeah, there's this density spike near the end, and that is our stamina pick. Next up.
we have a hybrid brought to you by Rave. This is Del Rio
Rio.
Insane difficulty, which
Not-
recently got ranked.
Not the silly Del Rio. We wouldn't do that to you guys. Well,
Not yet.
Not yet. Next stage, quarterfinals, we're gonna have the Rio del Rio. So if you've been paying attention to tournaments, you know there's the Del Rio chart for the Rivers by Raph, which has been insanely popular. What you might not know if you don't pay attention to ranked, which I don't, found out very recently, this chart got ranked, and there's an insane difficulty on the ranked beat map stat. That is a very interesting hybrid, as you will be going to soon see.
You gotta be careful with the jacks mostly here. They are, for the most part, very comfortable and intuitive because they are really on release tails, so it doesn't really add much difficulty on the long note side to hit those jacks. But you definitely need to be at least knowing the song or the chart a little bit. You have to play it a couple times until you get used to the motion. Once you get used to the motion, they are not that easy to choke. It's mostly about coordinating this broken patterns for the most part. You don't have a long sets of streams at any point, but you have to hold notes throughout most of the chart, and that is where the hybrid difficulty comes from for the most part. I totally did not set the replay of this map. It's definitely something else.
Yeah, Juan would never say something like that, but yeah, this map is like really kind of, it tests like almost every skill set from like coordinate LNs to like consistency, like Demon's Flaw, and you've got some jacks, you've got some fully stuff, so it's really like a mixed bag in terms of skill set.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting song despite the apparent simplicity. I don't think there's ever any point where you hold more than 2 long notes. Still the map.
I think there is a transition, that you do.
Oh yeah, there you go. But even though it's very light in the LN patterning side, it still manages to test your coordination just fine. Still manages to test your LN accuracy just fine. And the rise
this is the portion though. Yep.
Oh yeah.
You have to wait. We have the chorus yet coming to.
Yeah, we're
to
gonna have the solo.
Right? Yeah, the solo is pretty hard actually. I think the patterning can throw off a lot of people because of how sudden it is. Like it just comes really out of nowhere. After this jacks, if you don't know the song, you're gonna get catched for sure. Again, here we go.
Oh yeah.
More LN difficulty.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go.
LN and LNs of some different lengths than you've probably been playing throughout the chart. So.
Yo.
and
the burst. And this is the hard part for the rise. There we go.
Yeah.
Pretty repetitive though, but
yeah,
you
it's
can
a
easily
very
block
awkward
it.
role. Being repetitive probably works against the player in this case.
I mean, it kind of works because it helps to learn the patterns, but you can also obviously mind block on the jacks. But
yeah, because you stop reading the chart and you start trying to play the pattern that like the repeats, and then just goes all wrong in your head. But hey, that's a chart.
Yeah, so that's going to be Del Rio. That's our first hybrid, and now we're going to go into a mixed rice pick. This is one of the jack-oriented mixed rice picks. This is Time Goes By 1.1 by yours truly, and it's going to test like some jacks and some bursts. You'll see.
Time goes by so slowly. Oh wait, that's the wrong song.
Oh god.
Yeah, this is the Monster Cat release song.
(141 BPM). So, if it is on the jack department, you can expect pretty fast jacks.
Yeah, that's Singapore.
Very, very light though. They're not too dense so far, but as the song picks up, we will start seeing that the map gets a bit trickier.
Yeah. Yeah, the mini jacks and burst.
And you can see that there's some burst, there's some
and that's basically
there's quads to every single wub. That's like wonderful.
Very heavy on the left hand of the patterning, being a little bit too hand biased into the left. You can tell by those sort of one hand trills alongside the jacks on the left hand at the same time. And now it goes to the right hand, so mirror is not going to help you all that much. Thankfully, the map is not like too heavy. It has a lot of breaks. It is a very stagnated difficulty type of chart. Like you have spikes in between with the core jacks, but you don't have them all the way through like most core jack picks do. And it's not really just core jacks, they're mostly single jacks, but you have some quads in between that can easily throw you off.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say probably the most difficult part of the chart is gonna be the burst. They are somewhat awkward. And while they're infrequent, they're the most likely point of mistake in the chart. So overall, even though it has breaks, it's a chart that you're gonna be constantly on edge on, because when you're not playing the hard part, you're thinking about the hard part. So
those transitions, man, the quad into a
Yeah, the
single
transitions
jack
are-
and a burst, that is really hard.
So most of the difficulty is going to be concentrated in those kind of transition things, but yeah, overall, like the layering isn't so heavy as to like be too difficult for the round, so it's fine.
Next up, we have. Oh, this one, this guy.
This is not the version that appeared in SL2. This is Mysterion's version, which is LN releases.
There is something very weird about this map, and it's that it just starts randomly in the middle of the song. Like, why?
Yeah, because we cut like a lot of filler, a lot of filler. It wasn't exactly like easy. We just thought that cutting the map would make it a bit more interesting for players to practice and play.
The release tricks on this are so hard. You have a lot of instances of same hand releases on different timings, and sometimes what makes it even harder is that you have to hold longer with the finger you pressed first, and that's usually harder to coordinate because you're used to have long notes that are of similar lengths, right?
Yeah.
And if they are different, they get so much harder to release.
It's so weird. This shirt's just awkward all around.
It is. It really is pretty awkward.
Yeah,
If,
like
if you understand the motif behind it, though, it gets very fluent, and you can, if you understand the flow of the chart, you can easily destroy this. But it's hard to get into the mood of it. It mostly follows the vocal vibe, I think, and people is not really used to follow that for the most part when it comes to like just playing the game.
Yeah, you have to like really just like focus on like the whole picture when you're coordinating these releases. It's quite difficult for its density.
You have those on the left hand again, those disjointed releases on the same hand on different fingers. It gets really, really tricky. You can easily drop so many 200s here. Every single pattern is filled with evilness behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
The
of these,
coordination aspect is also absolutely nothing to Scott pad. Just pretty weird, sort of all around. The accuracy is definitely the biggest challenge, but it's a pretty big step up from what was our designated chart for this kind of style, which was origami.
They're somewhat different though, because origami is like not necessarily shorter, but it has a lower note count and it's so much slower. Here you can keep the tempo up, and you will probably not mess up any of the heads of the notes. But because there are so many instances of releases that are very tricky, you can't just isolate the releases that you could on origami. You have to be more fluently, more burst on playing this kind of patterns. You have to be more familiar with just like improvising them, or just like playing them without really paying too much attention to them, just like playing them naturally.
Yeah, and at the same time, like having a higher note count kind of works in your advantage if you're not so, if you're a bit like difficult on comboing stuff, because like, yeah, this has a way higher note count than origami.
This is probably going to be the LN pick that's going to get banned the most, I will assume.
Yeah, probably. It's usually the release one, always.
I think the length combined with the releases is going to make this a pretty big ban sponge. There we go. I know English, I swear.
Ban sponge. Yes.
A huge ban
And
spawn.
bait. Ban spawn. Yeah, but anyways, that's going to be our LN release pick, and now we're going to be moving it on to our stream pick, which is I Am Made 1.1.
Oh, this one is fun. Some of you might be familiar with the song from some really, really old Stepmania's Lashy Turner packs.
Yeah, so this is okay. So the BPM is 223. It's not that much higher than 210, but it does make up for that in its patterning and
Yeah, the patterning
length.
much
mention the
meaner.
jar.
Yeah.
It has
The
more
length-
anchors than the other
Yeah.
stream pick of around 32. To be
Yeah.
honest.
It has more anchors, it's longer, it's faster, and the length of the runs themselves is significantly increased. I think that
Yeah, that's definitely true.
like you barely get any breaks.
Yeah, this is the patterns are like very two-hand trillions. It's mapped that way to kind of accentuate the drums. It's like kind of a sharp no jump stream file without the jumps, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it has a now chord burst near the end of the streams just to keep you on your toes.
That transition is a bit hard as well. Oh, that was a nice 200, man.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, the two-hand trilliness does like take away a ton of your energy if you're like trying to act this, and you might just like fall apart at the end if you're not careful.
I believe this is gonna be one of the longest runs. I was wrong.
And there's a little
yeah.
bit of control at the end.
The big run. Oh yeah, do pay attention when you're getting near the end of the song.
Yo.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
long notes? What on my stream pick? What is going on?
Please remove the Chua lens. They are too difficult. This map is coordination focused.
LN pick, man. I don't know.
Alan pick.
Hydrated. I saw
Anti
Ellen's
LN
DM.
spray.
Now that's gonna wrap it up for the stream map.
Yeah, stream map.
So what are we having next? We are having no other than Crossing
Delta.
Delta.
Our second hybrid.
Yep.
Yeah, so this one is gonna test more of your rise ability. I'd say
like
like
the
this
background.
consistency thing. There's these. So yeah, it's 180. So there's gonna be some schlons. There's gonna be. I'd say it's like kind of similar to freefall in that sense. So yeah, it's like broken jump stream and like some coordination aspects. And keep in mind, like this might be easier to act than Del Real, but it's gonna be that way for everyone. So it's really gonna be an act battle on these schlons.
Yeah. Arguably, I would argue, one of the, if not the easiest chart in the pool. Just on account of how much more straightforward it tends to be than the other kinds of charts in this pool.
But you gotta get down those releasing to 3/4, like into 3 1/4 notes. If you get that down, that's likely the highest difficulty of this chart throughout. If you can manage streams alongside long notes that are not really too dense, then you should be fine. The rest is kind of like your average rank chart for the most part. Pretty light broken jump stream and a lot of breaks in between. You can easily muscle memory this and get a huge ratio like Leon is doing right now.
Yeah, this is a hybrid that is basically all about like accuracy optimization. You can very much just get really good at this chart and just grind your accuracy down to a T, and then just play what you learned in the match.
Yeah, this is a map that's gonna come down to ratio as well as making sure you're not dropping 200s on those releases.
Yeah, definitely.
And as you can see, like, this song is like over 3.5 minutes, so it just goes that there's always going to be more coordination releases stuff. Yeah, you just gotta keep on going.
When I saw the artist of this, I was like pogging so hard.
Oh, yeah.
Inti, Tipazai, Homarju, like those are some big names, man.
Also, what is that combination? Like, You think
It's pretty
about these
weird.
three?
Yeah, TPS you don't expect to see with Ginghika.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
Neon has
like-
pretty good ratio, by the way. I don't expect people to be hitting any score like this, like near this at all.
mhm.
Yeah, he nearly has a DDP on this map, which is really good.
And right there, I think that was probably the hardest releases section of the chart. Overall, its difficulty is not really about like being really hard to act the releases or being really tough physically. It's just that you're trying to be better than somebody, like, and this chart is really ripe for optimization.
Yeah, it's
Gonna
very
be-
it's a very scoreable chart.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a
And the
very
background is
interesting
pretty
cutoff
nice.
accuracy. Background is very nice. Huh. Next up, I think it's DSV, right?
Yup,
I
we're
would
gonna be
imagine.
seeing is Metastasis by 02 Snow. This was the stage 1 qualifier for BNL 2021.
Oh, all right. I have no idea what to expect.
So you know what to ban against the Netherlands now. Let's go. And against Belgium, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, like, this map isn't so hard to pick up that, like, those teams will have, like, an immediate advantage. But, like, this map is just going to come down to, like, some reading tricks at the beginning and some... You do have to, like, memorize some stuff near the end, but you just have to, like, play through it sometimes to get the hang of it.
So far, the intro seems to be pretty straightforward, pretty easy to get down. It follows the rhythm very sharply, and it's not very complex. But it's 02 Snow, so good luck.
Sure hasn't even begun yet.
Yeah, so classic 02 Snow coming out with a banger. Let's go.
Those are 1/4, by the way. There's like some 1/2, 1/4. Let's go. You really need to pay attention to the music. If you are oral, this section is easy, but if you are a visual, this section is completely terrifying because hitting the releases and the hits properly is so hard to do if you're not really into playing alongside the music and rather trusting your eyes. But if you pay attention to the music, if you're very oral, the first half at least of this chart is very easy to nail. And here you gotta pretty much memorize those long notes, and after that, the chart just plays itself. It's really flowy. It doesn't have much of a difficulty pattern-wise, other than just the 2 releases.
There's like a little bit of tricks where like sometimes these short elements are twice as long as you might expect, as you'll see soon. But other than that, like this should be like pretty smooth sailing from here. Yeah.
Oh, that's where the variation starts coming in.
Let's go. I love this chart so much.
Ooh.
So you do have to like
you really have to just like not trust your eyes. You have to learn, oh, this outline means like wait a little more than I'm supposed to. Okay.
That last 100 trill, that 3-note trill is gonna be so much choke bait. I can see so many people dropping there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But this is relatively
tame.
easy, but yeah, tame is a pretty fair descriptor. Just like very consistent. I think that it's just very it's very constant in what it demands from you. It teaches you, oh, this is DSV. These are the exceptions. Memorize these, and then you go and play. It's a very intuitive chart in how it distorts itself through DSV.
Yeah. Also, the OD is 5, so like you can. So it is like not. It's like kind of lenient, but
yeah.
Again, you will be playing this against everyone else, so yes, it might be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Let's jump to the next one then. What do we have?
Yeah, next up.
More rice, I think?
It's FFR core. If you play FFR in any way, you will recognize the song.
Yeah, this is Silk Mix team.
I am mad that the replay maker name is not called the same as the artist and the name of the song. I am very mad at that. Like, why are you Poseidon, whatever, dragon, and instead of Sick Mix? Like, come on.
Even the mapper should be Silk Mix.
Yeah, I agree.
If Silk was a mapper.
But look
And
at
a player.
the chart, though.
And a
About the
player.
chart specifically, this is so much easier to ratio than what it looks like. It has OD9, which is what makes it the main challenge, right? It's pretty techy, but the patterns are just so well placed. They are so properly placed. Everything feels super natural to play. It's just winning the fight against the OD9 hit window, which is very, very tight. But if you can do that, the patterns just play themselves for the most part. You have one or two instances after this Galopi section that can get you in your back foot and maybe have a 200 or two, but everything else is just super flowy.
Yeah, definitely. I think this turn, despite how gracy it looks, it can be a bit hard to like super optimize your ratio and get like everything go 320.
This is the harder part. Let's
Yeah,
go.
Yeah, that roll near the end is just awkward. But overall, this chart is just very fluid. It plays naturally, just like Juan said. You're not gonna be bothering too much about like combo or stuff. It's like except in 2 or so part.
Yeah, it's also very short.
So like the OD9 is meant to test your accuracy on the graces, but yeah, as Juan said, it does like flow pretty easily, and as Halo said, there are like some spikes in difficulty, but overall it should be fine. Yeah, so that's a Silk Mix theme on 1.05. And next up, I believe we are gonna have our LN density pick. This is kind of actually like a 50-50, but it works in terms of testing LN density.
Yeah.
This is Honey Bunny and Mr. Guys.
I would say that this has like the hardest level of rise that an LN should have at this stage. That's what I'm gonna give it.
Yeah, so you're gonna see a LN section in like the first 2/3, and then there's this kind of round of 32 level rise near the end, but overall it's very flowy and it's good.
Easy trills.
Yeah, and then this goes into this very awkward coordination type patterning.
Literally my jam. I love this. I when I saw this map, I was like, yo, this is so cool. It is very tricky though. It flows well. Again, if you're well versed on LNs, you're gonna hit that fine, no problem. But if you struggle reading LNs, oh boy, you're gonna miss so much on that. Like this intro and this sections in general with the anchors on one hand while holding on the other finger, those are just too harsh for people that are not good at coordination. And just the pattern reading in general is not easy at all either. It mostly focuses on the 2 and 3 columns, but still, you can miss really easily there.
Yeah, I would say it's like a very Intelizer themed map with like the anchors on 1 and 4. Those are just like so classically Intelizer, and it's wonderful.
And that pattern sucks. It does suck ass, and that's why I got to 200s.
I never dropped to 200 ever in that pattern, but I always drop to 200 in those LNs because I'm not LN. But now, as you can see, we're going to get some rice. Overall, this shouldn't be so hard. This is like round 32 level. I mean, it looks a bit dense, but it does flow quite well. So it's really just something on nerves.
I wouldn't say round of 32, but like it's not that difficult.
Yeah, okay, maybe not round of 32, but yes.
It's round of 24.
Round of 24, yes, we can say that. Yes. But anyways, that's going to be Honey Bunny, our quote-unquote LN density. But now we're going to go into our third mixed rice pick, and I'm proud to introduce you guys to High 19, High 19. This is a chart from 2014. Let's go.
High 19, let's go. Imagine High 19 uploading to O2.
Good stuff.
Yeah, so about this map, yeah, I would say like it's gonna be like this sort of broken jump stream with some burst interspersed. It gets a little bit spiky, but overall it's like mostly consistent.
Yeah, it's an interesting chart. It has this weird mix of being a consistency-oriented pick with the occasional mini jack and burst. And these are like some very notable depth spikes in the chart. So gotta be testing a lot of raw accuracy, but you also gotta be on your toes.
Yeah, and there's gonna be a spike in around this time, and then like go another path through the song and get to the end. It's also gonna be kind of a spike. Yeah, but overall, I would say like Lexus Side Nixus is mostly chill, and a lot of these difficulties like concentrated in these bursts, which happen kind of sporadically, and they're kind of concentrated near the halves of the songs. So, you know, it's classic FFR core. And like I can imagine, like once players get to the end, you're gonna see what the ending's like. The ending is kind of a little bit of choke bait, but overall, it shouldn't be so bad.
Yeah. I think choke bait is probably the name of the game here. It's just like a hugely consistent chart where the occasional difficult section to try to throw you off.
The ending has very weird snaps though, and it goes pretty
Yeah, the ending has
fast.
some weird rolls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
you do have to
only
be
one
careful.
tree in the chart. Yeah.
Last note, bonk.
Boom.
Yeah, anyways, that's going to be Lexus Side Nixus, our last Rice pick. And now we're going to move on to our Ellen wildcard pick, which is going to be Masquerade by Yanafea.
Yeah, this chart is very fun.
I should map it someday, to be honest.
Yeah, you should.
Probably should.
I hate that I got 1-200 on every single replay I did. Like, I am so mad at myself.
Flags happen, man. Don't worry.
But, yeah,
But
so,
anyways, this is a pretty interesting pick. I'll say for the most part, you have to be very careful with the thirds. Other than that, the map is pretty much consistency for those LM players.
Yeah.
But the thirds can be pretty difficult. Those, like, you can drop 200s there by just overholding pretty easily.
Also, we haven't had a lot of very streamish LN until now. I think this is the first chart to kind of fill that role in a certain way, in some of its denser sections. Just a very consistent kind of rhythm. It has these tricky triplets and sometimes awkward releases. But overall, it's a very, very consistency-oriented chart at one side. It's mostly about just not getting lost in the reading and keeping your focus on the chart so you can consistently act all of the weirdish stuff that it tries to throw at you.
Yes, yeah, so you do see, like, there's these kind of things where you have to, like, release at the same time. And there's also these kind of things where you have to focus on one stream with full schlunks while holding something else. That's an LN. So
Gotta be careful with those jacks as well. They are not very fast, but if they throw you off, if you don't expect them, which I didn't the first couple times I played this map, you can drop 200s very easily there too.
Yeah, that's a pretty awkward section.
oh yeah, that section is a bit dense.
It's weird. It's weird to act. It's somewhat intuitive to play, but trying to get every 300 down is
Imagine
painful.
getting a 200 on that pattern, man. God.
Wow, you dropped the card.
God damn.
Happens. And it gets a little more awkward through on the back end of the chart. It's a bit backloaded, but overall should be fine.
Yeah, so that's going to be our last LN pick, and now we're going to be moving into our second SV. And if you're a British, you're going to know this song because this is matched by Britain's very own Hyper. It's going to be Turbo.
Oh god.
This is not a B1SS. What? The replay maker is wrong. Shake my head.
SMH. Also, there's Ame in the background, but you wouldn't be able to tell based on, well, I guess you can tell based on the song description.
Yeah. Let me see how this goes.
Yeah, so anyways, this map is, like, gonna test your slow jam and fast jam ability. Like, it's not as... So it is consistent in a sense, but, like, I would say it's consistent in a different way from Metastasis. Like, there's some similarities, but a lot of them end. So as you can see, like there's this fast jam section. You really just have to like use your gut and time.
Oh.
And there's this buildup.
That's weird.
Looks pretty fun, to be honest.
You have to play it a couple of times to pick it up, but after that, it shouldn't be so bad.
Oh yeah, it does seem like it's better with
it's not necessarily the slowdown that is the problem. The problem is when it speeds up to a level that you can't really read too comfortably, so you might need to actually remember how the jumps go.
Yeah, there's like some aspect of memorization in like, yeah, if you can't read fast jam on sight, then yeah, you have to play it a few times to
just reduce the speed, old Mayo. Just let the slow jams be like impossible to read. Memorize that.
And you have some slow jam coming up.
Oh, okay. That's the anti-speed reduction section.
Yeah, so this
players go speed 4, which I can, so I'll probably do it anyway. That was some wild SVs there at the end. Yo.
Okay, that's a funny chart, to say the least.
Wait, are we done?
No, we have a tiebreaker.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
So, guys,
yes,
let's go. Let's go.
do you remember, guys, when I told you that the big gap is gonna be between round of 16 and quarterfinals?
Oh
well,
yeah, that's what this chart now is about.
Yep. This is why the tiebreaker of round 60 is really gonna put you on the edge, and it's very
tiebreaker's a fucking treat. You're gonna love this.
I present you guys necessary discrepancy, which is
Daisuke's vision.
Yep.
This is so good. This is
when
you
6-minute
long nap.
When you see it. Oh my god.
Prepare for kind of a boss tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to describe this.
So, yeah. This is from Guilty Gear Strive. It's Ramlito's team. And it is stupid difficult. Like
it is really hard.
It's kind of stupid how harder than the rest of the pool.
It's really hard at the end, but it's also like kind of tricky in these sections.
I like how the client thinks that it's still turbo, by the way.
Yeah, this true star tiebreaker. Don't worry about it, guys. Everything's gonna be fine.
There's SV in the tiebreaker. Turbo's the tiebreaker. Oh no. But yeah, okay. Necessary discrepancy. Great song. Great file. Shouts to Huang.
It starts off pretty tame, but it has some of these long difficulties on releases and coordination in the transitions with the vocals. But other than that, it's mostly 8s at I think they are 110 BPM, so it's essentially 220 1/4, and you have this tricky release patterns for the most part and transitions.
Yeah.
But the very first half of the map is, for the most part, pretty tame compared to what the second half is.
The first quarter or so is all spent basically just acclimating you to the patterns that are to come. By the way, here we go.
Some jump stream. Here we go. 220, by the way.
220? Oh crap!
220 downstream. Yep.
That's why it was that hard.
Rice crack.
Rice crack.
Rice crack.
And it transitions all the time between very heavy rise and long notes. So you need to be very well versed on just switching play styles. And
Yeah,
that
you
is hard
gotta.
to some people.
It reminds me a bit of the Speed of Light 2 qualifier design, where it was like really fast stream and you just had to hit the brakes on the LNs like immediately. Takes a bit of control to not mess that up.
And we're about to enter into the break long note section here. After that transition on the vocals, we get a bit time to rest after the 220 BPM jump streams. And you're thinking, whew, well, that was probably the hardest part of the map. Now I'm fine. I just need to focus, maybe hit tab, check the skills of the other team. No, you're wrong.
Yeah, you have some.
The worst is yet to come.
And I see people saying, Juan Tiebreakers is a land. Just wait for it.
This way. At least you do get a lot of time to just like chill out and
to prepare for what's coming.
Yeah, you get to recover your stamina. You get to calm down your nerves a little bit. Not too much because you still have to act these sections. They're slightly tricky. Nothing absurdly menacing, but not free by any means.
Bit of a hybrid part here, some faster streams here into the long note releases, a bit of a techie section if you will, but after this we're about to start with the main chorus of the song.
Yep.
And here we go, getting into the very pure hybrid section right now.
Yeah, so there's some Ellen sections, there's some Rice sections, and this is gonna be the 50-50 section.
True.
Mostly broken, dense jump streams with long notes in between can be very easy to mess up because of the 1-2 jacks for the most part. 110 BPM, although not that fast, can be complicated to read with the long notes in between. Mm-hmm. And this transition is pretty brutal too. The snaps are all over the place.
You can feel the jank like in your soul.
And into long notes now. If you didn't have enough, this is the actual proper long note section.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Let's go. This is like Semi's material. It's
this is kind of brutal. It felt absolutely hideous. Like, why would you do this to us, Juan?
It is just a 20 BPM jump stream, man. Come on.
There's holds. Thank you very much.
Into some more hybrid parts, and in transition after this we'll see the hardest part of the chart, the rise
you guys
ending.
are a fucking treat.
Yeah.
Not this.
Pretty techie here. You gotta hit the 1-6 on the vocals while chord jacking to the rest of the files. So
this section is so difficult, and it's not even at peak difficulty yet. It gets harder.
And now into dump streams.
And we're gonna see some vocal dumping very soon. This is it.
It is pretty rude.
It's so rude. It's like a chord jack section that slowly evolves into just straight up dump stream.
Yeah.
It plays easier than what it looks, I'll say that much, but boy, is it hard.
Yeah. It's like, it's gonna be for so many teams the first real taste of late game or mid game, whatever you want to call it.
This
is 4.6 was also
stars,
a taste of late game, but like
this is not 4.6. You're kidding, right?
I think yes, it is.
That's so stupid. Star rating is so dumb.
So we really wanted to make sure that the better physical team gets through now that everybody gets to play this if they reach a tiebreaker. Imagine a scenario where you have two low-seeded teams playing against each other. You don't want the lower team to be out accuracy in the other, and this essentially will be
that's true.
For those teams.
This is absolutely gonna be the most physical map of the pool by far. It's not even a contest. And with this, we're done with our pool. That was the round of 16.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see like how these pools will play. Like I've been waiting for these charts to like come out for like the longest time ever, and now that they're out, like I just gotta wait. I just gotta sit back and enjoy the show.
I shall say something before you go there and practice a tiebreaker, which I don't know if you're going to do right away. But there's going to be 2 difficulties on the set. Remember, the actual difficulty you got to play is Diva of Hope and not Diva of Despair. Please be careful. Don't train the actual unnerfed version of the tiebreaker. Otherwise, you're going to notice. But you don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do play the unnerfed version and then like you're suddenly like treated with the nerf version in the tournament, like that could be like
And then
helpful.
you're then you're suddenly like godlike.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you do know that people will absolutely play the wrong version and then be like really weirded out when they actually play this. I am very, very sure that people are gonna complain based on the nerf version. But hey, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, but looks like this has been the 40M4 round of 16 pool, and it's been a pleasure commentating with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, is it then?
I'll imagine that is it. Yep. So that's going to be it for us, guys. Think we shall see you all for next weekend matches, which are going to be very exciting. Round of 16 is looking very spicy, and my god, I just love this song. I will never stop loving this song.
Yeah, it is very good.
This is the best track on the entire Guilty Gear series. Changed my mind. But anyways, it was a pleasure for me as well to commentate with you guys, as always.
Thanks.
But we should call it quits, and until round of 16 it is, for more exciting matches and for the first set of actual proper elimination to happen.
Oh, that's gonna be
The
really
losers bracket, that's gonna be exciting to watch. It's also good. Yeah.
Yeah, we already have some close conflicts in the winners and the losers. Holy hell, that's gonna be a pretty exciting stage of the tournament. So we're gonna be seeing you next week. Until then, we're closing out. This is Halo. I've been with Juan and Shu, and see you later.
Thank you. Bye bye.